Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, presents Postmortem, a play for radio by Benjamin Bradford, first prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Postmortem.
Is over. Now the battle day is past. Now upon the shore, lands are for you nest. Come on, over, bully. Now the legs, nice and straight. That's right. Father in thy gracious keeping, lead me now.
I don't like that bell much, Johnny.
It's cheerful, Doctor, cheerful.
No place to be cheerful in the morgue. 7 o'clock Saturday night, dinner party at the Williamsons. My wife furious because I have to do this post. That's not cheerful, Johnny.
Oh, want me to take it down?
No, it doesn't matter. What's on the table?
Gunshot, young one.
Oh, too bad. Turn on the recorder. Save a minute if you'd let it warm up.
Yes, sir.
I want to get through this fast.
Yes, sir. Recorder's on.
Thanks. You got all the instruments?
Yes.
Testing. 7 o'clock Saturday evening. A nice day off today. No problem. Until now. Alicia's boiling mad at the Williamsons. Don't transcribe that. Problem. Until now. Alicia's boiling mad at the Williamsons. Don't transcribe. Oh, that's fine, Johnny.
He's just a baby trying to grow a beard.
Oh, shouldn't take long. These lean young ones. Where's the measuring tape?
There, on the table.
Yeah, thanks. Case number 1024.
Excuse me, do you need me?
If you have everything ready to go, no. Got a date?
Oh, no, sir.
Hey, you stay here all the time, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
You ought to get some fresh air.
Oh, people don't like to look at me. This is where I belong. Wouldn't be at home somewhere else.
Case 1024.
Holler if you need me.
Yeah, okay, Johnny. This is a young, slender Caucasian male.
17. I'm 17.
Dolichocephalic. Must be about 20.
17. Date of birth, August 27th, 1954. 9 in the morning. Conveniently. I never wanted to put anybody out. Least of all my mother.
The subject is 67 inches long. There's a 6-centimeter contusion of the right temporal area. Without apparent fracture.
Fell against a stone bench. Lucky I didn't break my head.
There's a puncture wound in the mid-clavicular line, 4th left interspace. Appears to have been made by a medium caliber bullet.
Thought it was a cannonball.
Medium caliber. The genitalia are those of a normal adolescent male.
That's nice to know.
No scars, no other remarkable external signs.
Very ordinary.
No evidence of extrusion of the bullet. Assume it is lodged in the thoracic cavity.
I'm not really very comfortable on my side.
Okay, back in your back, boy.
That's better. But I suppose my hands should really be crossed on my chest.
Catch that, will you, Johnny?
Yes, sir.
No point in doing a brain. Chest and abdomen. Hope the bullet won't be hard to find. Can spend a couple of hours looking around for it.
I'd hate to take up a couple of hours.
It's your wife, Doctor. Wants to know how long you'll be.
Well, tell her I don't know yet. It just started.
All right.
Tell her I'll call her as soon as I finish.
I must be messing up your evening.
Oh, it's all right. I'm used to it. But Alicia doesn't like it. She likes for me to be where she wants me to be, and when. Funny, she used to not seem to mind so much. I guess we change. She gets worse all the time.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Might as well open the chest. Gotta find that blasted bullet.
Go ahead. This won't hurt, will it?
No, it won't hurt, son. Come to think of it, I really don't know. No, of course it won't hurt.
Funny, isn't it? I felt good this morning when I woke up. Ate my breakfast and took a world history exam. I really knocked it, too. But I didn't miss more than 3. Multiple choice. I'll never know for sure.
Beautiful day today. Didn't even mind wearing a coat. Wish somebody'd do away with coats in the summer. Bet you never wore a coat in summer, eh? Bet you wore what you wanted to.
Not always.
We can't do all the things we like. That's the price of civilization. Wearing coats when it's hot as blazes. Going to parties 3 or 4 times a week. Listening to a lot of inane talk. A lot of words. Smiling at people you don't give a snap of the fingers for. Your cartilage is soft. This is going to be easy. You're very, very tender. Like cutting through soft pine matchsticks.
You don't know how tender I am. You don't know it, but I've never even been with a girl.
Sorry I missed that.
I could have, I guess. Once or twice. But it didn't quite happen.
Oh, what happened? You get scared?
No. Both times it just didn't work. First time she changed her mind. In midstream. Second time was in my car. Boy, it was going good. And just then a couple of little kids jumped on the hood of my car. Boy.
Well, that's too bad.
Scared me half to death, I can tell you that.
I can imagine.
Drove out of there fast. Laid more rubber on the road than was left on the tires.
The left ventricle is punctured. Death can be presumed to have been instantaneous.
No, it wasn't.
Nearly so.
Seemed like hours, and even then I didn't believe it.
Lateral exit into the left lung.
Had a date with Judy tonight. Might have made it.
Lateral exit into the left lung.
She really likes me, I think.
Must be here somewhere in the posterior chest wall.
I want to make it with her. More than I ever wanted anything. I'm glad I saved me. For someone I really love. I guess I've been in love with Judy at least 3 weeks.
It's not gonna be easy. I have to take the heart and lungs out.
Go ahead.
He could be my son.
Yeah.
Could be Robert, lying here in the morgue. This one will never get to see his brand new world ahead.
That makes me kind of sad. It's going to be a good world. No boundaries, political or personal. No phonies or fakes. That's the way it's going to be.
Old world hasn't been so bad. I think we've done pretty well with it. At least we've tried.
Not hard enough.
Not so many hungry people now. Not nearly as many as there were, say, 20 years ago.
Still hunger. No real freedom.
Freedom to speak, say what you want to say. Lots of places you can't do that. You can go pretty much where you want, when you want.
Until you get to a boundary. A little line drawn with a pencil across a map.
Takes time. You forget we had a war to win and a peace to make. You young bucks want to rush it too fast.
I wonder if you really wanted to change.
Sure we do. In the right way. Evolution. Build on what you have.
Too much rotten underneath. You don't understand that.
No, son.
What are you doing about it?
What are you?
How many cars do you have?
2.
What kind?
Alicia drives the Cadillac. I have a Thunderbird.
Big cars. Smoking up the air.
Robert has a car. A little one. If you want to know the truth, I can't get in and out of those little ones.
Robert, your son?
Yeah, only son I have. Only child.
I didn't have any brothers or sisters. I wish I'd been a little nicer to my mother. She's a pretty good old girl.
I wish we'd had a house full. Alicia had 1. No more babies for her.
My mother was busy most of the time, taking care of Dad. She took care of me, too. I'm not blaming her, you understand. I don't think this is her fault.
I'm inclined to blame Alicia, but I'm not where I want to be. More than that, when I'm where I don't want to be. Guess I like peace more than anything. The lungs weigh 650 grams. Correction, that's 1,650 grams. Still pink for the most part. Mottled gray and black, particularly on the bases. He didn't breathe enough of this air to turn them black. Bet mine are like coal. Every time I smoke a cigarette, I worry about it.
I smoked a cigarette once when I was 14. Didn't like it a bit. I smoked grass a couple of times.
Oh, how is it?
Nothing much. I put on a show for my buddies. Guess they were putting on a show for me, too?
Like my first bottle of beer.
I don't like beer.
Guess it grows on you.
Doesn't do much for you, really. Unless you think it does.
Let's see.
What I mean is, it's no big deal.
Wish I'd never started smoking. Wish I could quit.
Then quit.
It's not that easy. I have problems you youngsters don't know anything about. Money, mostly.
If you don't want much, you don't need much money.
The heart weighs 420 grams. There's a 1 centimeter opening in the anterior aspect of the left ventricle, nicking the anterior coronary artery. There's a somewhat larger opening in the lateral aspect of the left ventricle. This corresponds to the trajectory of the bullet passing from right to left and slightly posteriorly. Money's a funny thing. You think you want things.
Not everyone.
Everyone, given enough time. You have to earn money to get things you want. And the things you want to give your children, your wife. So you work for it. The more you have, the more you need, the more you want. Security, that's what you work for. I'm afraid someone's going to take it away from you. You can't go back. Can't even stand to think about it. And you want to leave something behind.
I didn't really want much. A few books, enough to eat. What's to want, really?
Oh, you're too young. How old are you?
17.
Oh, you look older. Must be the beard.
I was trying to grow one.
Oh, you'd look better with a shave.
My dad said that, but he laughed. He didn't mind.
Oh, well, he knew you'd get tired of it. Shave it off.
It's not important. Things aren't important, you know.
Maybe I thought that when I was your age. I don't remember. I know I wanted to do something useful with my hands.
That's what I wanted.
I think I wanted... Yes, I did. I wanted to be a medical missionary. Isn't that strange? Can't imagine me being a missionary. You have to accept things the way they are.
That's what's wrong. You can't accept things. You have to see what's bad and try to change it. You have to.
You can't change people. Human nature. When you realize that, you
Become self-satisfied,
just accept and try to do the best you can.
which means you don't do anything.
I wouldn't say I wasn't doing anything.
Well, what are you doing?
I'm a doctor, a pathologist. I can look at a bit of tissue and tell you if it's malignant.
So what?
It's an important skill. Takes years to learn. The surgeon knows what to remove.
So the patient dies quicker or slower? Still dies, doesn't he?
No, not always. We save lives.
Well, you didn't do so well with me.
It would have taken a magician, not a surgeon, for you.
I don't think anyone even tried. For me. It was like nobody cared.
It was too late to try. You don't understand. You're too young.
Why is it? When you can't give a decent answer, you say, all of you say, I don't understand. I'm too young.
Well, because you don't. It takes maturity.
Well, I understand plenty. I understand you're scared. Scared we're going to do something to your things.
I think we'd better get on with this. I don't have all night.
Neither do I.
You have forever. I gotta find that bullet.
Why? What's it matter?
So we can find the gun that fired it. And the man.
We?
They, the police.
That's funny. It struck me as funny. I could help you find the bullet. I know where it is.
Well, tell me. We'll both be through faster.
Here, I think it's in this rib.
Huh? By golly, you're right. Wait a minute. Yeah. There's the little devil. A little gray blob.
Doesn't look as if it could...
Kill you?
Yeah.
I want to keep that evidence.
Do you think anybody cares, except my mother and Judy? My dad, I guess.
I'm sure everybody cares.
Bull.
What do you think I'm doing here, missing the Williamsons' party? What do you think?
I think you didn't want to go anyway.
That's my job.
Doesn't matter. I was thinking about the funeral. Wonder when it'll be.
Don't know. Only a day or two.
Guess I'll get some flowers.
Tell you what, if you don't, I'll send some. What do you like?
I always liked nasturtiums. The leaves are good to eat. Sort of sweet and sour and funny all at the same time.
I never tried them.
You should. I wanted to try everything at least once.
I don't think they send nasturtiums to funerals. Roses, sprays of chrysanthemums, things like that. Big flowers.
To make a big show, like they really care.
People care, son. You have to believe that.
Guess some of my friends will come. Do you think they'll cry?
Oh, the girls.
I don't mean the girls. Girls like to cry. I mean the fellas.
Fellows aren't supposed to cry. That's one of the first things I taught Robert. Men don't cry.
I do. When no one's looking, if I see something sad, I cry.
Yeah, I do too. When no one's looking. Don't tell Robert.
I don't even know Robert. He in school?
A sophomore. He ought to see the grades he brings home. I'm proud of him, I can tell you. You don't see Robert running around tearing things up, running with a pack of rabble. No, sir. He knows what he's in school for.
What school?
The university.
Yeah, me too.
Pre-med. He wants to be like me. Even looks like me. Well, he doesn't smoke or drink. Doesn't use drugs like a lot of you.
You sure?
Certain. He's not that kind of boy. Oh, his hair's a little longer than it should be. Like yours. And he tries to grow a beard, and he can't. No, never any trouble with Robert.
Like my mother. Never any trouble with me. Bless her heart. I'm going to miss my mother.
I guess so.
You want to get through with me, don't you?
Well, there's not much else I can do.
Yeah, that party.
Well, I should be there. Important people. I'm running for coroner in November.
Why?
I don't know. Just something I wanted to do.
Why?
I don't know. Just something I wanted to do.
Why?
Well, coroner's important. Make a few extra dollars. Robert's in college. Takes a few more dollars, you know.
Wife wants you to?
Yeah, she wants me to be something. Says I'm stuck. Have to move up a little. Yeah, I guess that's what she wants me to do. Women are funny things. They want something to be proud of. The coroner's an important man in the county.
I'd hate you to miss being important. On my account.
Oh, I'm not going to miss anything on your account.
I wouldn't want anybody to. I wonder if my dad is proud of me, like you are of Robert.
Your getting killed isn't going to make him proud.
I mean the things I did. He didn't know about the grass and stuff.
I guess he was proud.
Not that I was hiding anything from him. I just didn't see any sense in telling him something that'd bother him. That makes sense to you?
Yeah?
I mean, I have to lead my own life. I have to. But I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt anybody.
No, I know.
You have to be able to talk to somebody. Like Judy. But you can't tell anybody everything.
Mm-hmm.
It could have hit her, you know.
What?
The bullet.
Oh.
She was right next to me. She could have been the one here, easy as anything.
A lot we don't know.
It could have hit anybody. There was a bunch of us. Gosh. I wonder how I'd feel if Judy was here. And I was out there.
I don't know how you'd feel.
I guess I don't either. I wouldn't want her to be here. But you know something? I don't want to be here myself. Why me, do you suppose?
Don't know why anybody, anything. Me, better finish it.
Oh, sure. Much more to do?
Just the abdomen. I'm not gonna do a brain.
Don't do a brain. Let me keep it.
You get this bruise on your head before you were hit?
Yes, just a moment or two.
I don't think you fractured your skull.
You know, I didn't think they'd shoot us. I really didn't think they'd shoot. And they're people, too. I heard the bullets hit a tree right next to me, real bullets. I pulled Judy down as quick as I could and hit my head on a bench. Boy, it hurt for a moment. Then I was shot, and my head didn't hurt anymore. It's almost like they were aiming right at me. I guess I'll never understand why.
Oh, an accident, I imagine.
No, it wasn't an accident. They were shooting at me, straight and sure. I wasn't going to hurt them. I've never hurt anyone that I know of.
I wish I could say that.
When I think about it, I could cry. Me. But like you said, men don't cry. And it wouldn't do any good anyway.
No, wouldn't do any good.
I guess what I was doing didn't do any good. I'd hate to be here for nothing. And say, why don't you put some pictures on the wall? Make it cheerful. It doesn't have to look like this.
No one stays here long enough to worry about it. Johnny out there, I suppose. And this is probably the way he likes it.
Your green apron is the brightest thing in here. Except me there in the sink. What do you do with me?
You don't want to know.
Yes, I do. What do you do?
Throw it away. Face it, you don't need them anymore.
That's true, I guess. But I hate to be thrown away, like I never was anything.
Don't think about it.
Not going to be much left of me.
Everything that people see.
I didn't want it that way. I didn't want anything phony or missing in me.
It's a shame. It's a shame to lose a fine young fellow like this. Sturdy. Smart, I bet. Never had a chance to put his strength into the human race. Something wrong here, killing a young fellow. I guess it was one of the accidents of living today.
It was not an accident.
Sure it was. They didn't mean
What's the difference? I'm dead.
However it was, they shouldn't have killed you.
It never entered my mind, being killed. I was carrying a big placard. You know what it said?
What?
L-O-V-E in 12-inch letters. That's all. Just love. I spent half the morning after my history test making that placard. Dark green letters on a piece of white cardboard. Boy, it really stood out.
Like a target.
I'd like for someone to bring it to my funeral. Right to the grave. Do you think they will?
No way for me to know. The liver weighs 1,500 grams. Don't think I've ever weighed a liver that came out even. Nothing in the bowel.
My lunch. Tuna fish sandwich on white bread. My mother fixed it.
Have to sew her up.
I didn't think you'd do that.
I think I'd just leave you gaping open.
I didn't think that far.
That may be part of your trouble, little friend. Not thinking far enough. But you didn't have time, did you?
I just didn't think they'd...
You were at the wrong place at the right time.
I'm getting tired. What time is it?
Don't know, close to 8, I guess.
Where are you, Judy?
Are you home safe, Robert? Can I lock you in the house to keep you safe? Can I hold your mind?
That's what I was thinking when I was hit. About you, Judy. Protecting you. Tender.
I bought
Beautiful.
a blue Corvette. A blue Corvette.
Gentle.
Because he wanted it. Because I love him.
What's my name? I don't remember my name.
And I'm scared to death every time he drives it out of the garage.
Mike? Bill? What's the difference?
I could kill him, keeping him safe. What's the right thing to do?
Too early for bed. I'd like to read a while before I go to sleep.
I don't want him to be like me. I want him to be a lot better than I've ever been. I guess it is a new world. I hope he can live in it.
I'm almost too sleepy to read. Maybe tomorrow.
Well, that's it.
You don't have to tuck me in, Mother. But if you want to.
It's time to stop doing what I don't like to do. Time to do what I know is right.
And you can kiss me, too. And even Dad, if he makes it quick. And no one's watching, okay? I love you, Mom.
Not too late to change. That's something. No reason for me to wear a coat all summer just because the rest of them do. The cause of death is
Never know.
32 caliber bullets fired,
Why me? Why especially me?
guessing 30 yards,
Love.
that penetrated and perforated the heart, lodging in the fifth rib, posterolaterally. Bullet recovered, not badly damaged.
Forgive me
Incidentally, there's a contusion of the scalp,
for doing so
occurring
little.
ante-mortem.
Forgive me.
Johnny, you can put him in the box. Handle him carefully. He's very tender. .32 caliber bullets fired, guessing 30 yards, that penetrated and perforated the heart, lodging in the fifth rib, posterolaterally. Bullet recovered, not badly damaged. Incidentally, there's a contusion of the scalp, occurring ante-mortem. Johnny, you can put him in the box. Handle him carefully. He's very tender.
Post-Mortem, a play for radio by Benjamin Bradford. Walter Marsh was the doctor, John Stalker the young man, and Don Robinson the morgue attendant. Technical operation by Marv Nunn. The play was the first prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by Hans Jonges at WHA, University of Wisconsin Extension. This program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, in Hilversum, Holland. Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, presents The Way Out West, a play for radio by Laverne Kerr. Second prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The Way Out West.
Howdy, stranger. Nice morning. Say, aren't you the fella bought the old Sturgis place out on State 35? Yeah, I thought so. Right nice little spread you got yourself there. Had a little trouble here in town a couple of nights back. Oh, you hear about it, did you? Yeah? Did you ever see him? And that pesky little motorcycle he had? No? Well, you're just about the only one in these parts that hasn't, then. Oh, he was a sight, that one. Old Wilson said when he seen him come in down at the train station, he said, that is, if you got a minute. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know how it is when the ladies get to shopping. Coffee? Well, I won't say no. Here, let me prop my broom up. Say, Millie, give me a cup, will you? Yeah, I was down there passing the time of day with old Wilson when the train come in, and this fella got down off it all by himself. Nobody to meet him, and carrying one of those big, heavy laundry bags, you know, like sailors carry their things around in. Only this fella wasn't dressed like a sailor.
Here's your coffee.
He sure wasn't dressed like a sailor, not by a long shot.
Say, Al, will you look what just come in on the 720 there?
I'll beat. Not much trouble seeing him, I guess. Not even if it was pitch black out here. Not in an outfit like that.
What kind of get-up they call that anyway?
I'll be jigger do I know. I guess it's what them beatniks or hippies or whatever they are wear. But you look at that bright yellow pants, orange and green striped shirt, and beads around his neck. Can you imagine a grown man going out in public in a get-up like that?
Well, here, tell. They like bright colors.
I guess.
Take a look at that necktie.
That's
Must be a yard wide. And as many flowers on it as the desert after good rain. Never know what you're gonna see next in this world, do you?
Something about the way this fella looked at you. No, not mean. I couldn't honestly say that. More just very cool, you know? Like he didn't know his clothes was funny looking. So he stood around there on the platform while, like he was waiting for something. And pretty soon they set down off the baggage car one of these little motorcycles. And he loaded that laundry bag on the back and took off up Main Street sounding like a nest of hornets. A couple of days later, I heard tell he was staying in a rooming house down on Horsetail Street. But oh, no, sir. No trouble at all about that. No, we got a different way of doing things out here than you do back east. No, man's got the cash money. Doesn't matter if he's purple or green. He can stay any place in this town he's got a mind to. Being new here yourself, you know how friendly and hospitable people in this town are.
Well, no, he hasn't opened an account with us yet. But I cash his checks for him every month, same as I do for anybody else. Don't treat him a bit different. Well, no, not personal checks. They're government checks. Gets a pension or something, I guess. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe you're right. Well, if he is on the poverty program, that new addition I'm putting on the bank out there will come in right handy, won't it? Gotta have room for all that extra money, huh? Oh, well. Things could be worse. Won't last forever. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. You just wait till the next election.
So I said to Pedro or Pancho or whatever the hell his name is, you know that Latina kid I got working for me? Well, just as soon as I saw that guy in town on his motorcycle, I said, now you get out there and dust off those cars, hombre. They look like hell. I mean, they really look like hell. So polish them up and none of that mañana stuff. I mean, right now. And get this. Particularly the Cadillacs, I told him.
I'll bet he knows some really fantastic songs, huh, Joey? Don't you? I mean, the kind they don't ever play on the radio, huh, Joey? And doesn't he have the most fantastic clothes? I mean, they really turn me on. I have made the most fantastic effort to get Bobby to wear something like that, but he just hangs on to his old Levi's and his old boots like they were solid gold. Oh, unreal.
So I told the greaser here in the kitchen to be sure and keep plenty of chicken fried up. And I told Sam to drop me off an extra watermelon now and then. Savvy? Yeah, he eats in here almost every night. As long as he behaves himself, his money's as good as anybody else's. But if you want my personal opinion, all that racial trouble they got in those big cities, It's my personal opinion that they could take a tip from us fellas out here that really know what it's all about.
So I thought maybe we could invite him over to our discussion group a few times. You know, just to get acquainted so he knows we're with him and that we completely support him. You know, to reassure him that he has real friends he can count on out here. Why, then maybe we could, you know, beat that boy.
What?
You know, James Baldwin. You read that. I know you did. We were talking about it just the other day. Beat that boy. You know, discuss the race problem with an expert. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Every place you went, people was interested in him and as friendly as could be. Not like your big cities where nobody cares if you're alive or dead. Oh, sir. Wasn't any place that fella couldn't go. Nothing he couldn't do. Everyone treated him just fine. Oh, once a bunch of damn fool kids let the air out of the tires on his motorcycle and tied a flag on it and a sign saying Buy American. One of those little foreign machines he had, you know, not much bigger than a toy anyhow. But hell, you know how kids are. They didn't mean anything by it. And nothing to do with this discrimination business. And no harm done. Just pump up the tires again, good as new. But he wasn't the easiest fella to get to know. Kinda standoffish he was, right from the start. Well, only thing about him that bothered most people was those clothes he wore. One outlandish outfit after another. Never seen anything like it. Now, me, I'm old-fashioned and set in my ways, and I can hear you saying, now, what's an old bird like Al Fridler? No, yeah, that's all right, though. I do think there's some things a person learns he can't get out of books. Not to knock education, but it wasn't just us old-timers. No, sir. Even the top men in town, men like Mr. Skidmore, owns that big department store I showed you down the street and some other places around town. And Mr. Gage, now he's a big man in real estate around here. Probably did business with him. You did business with his firm anyway, and you bought your place, huh? Yeah, well, men like that. There's nothing old-fashioned about them. Forward-looking men. Like things up to date as well as anyone.
Well. Look here coming down the street in his fancy duds.
You suppose he's just walking along the street this morning like anybody else, or is he maybe on his way to protest something?
I like to protest myself, those outfits he gets on. But what you mean is he just heading in there for a cup of coffee like the rest of us? Or is he maybe planning on one of those sit-ins or demonstrations?
Well, he's not coming in for coffee, looks like.
No, must be a march of some kind then. It sure is hard to tell when you only got one of them in town, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Those two got a real sense of humor. Yeah, more people had a sense of humor, we wouldn't have half the troubles we got in this world today. Well, so anyway, I didn't think any more about it until later on in the evening. I was hanging around over in back of the barber shop. Now, everyone knows those boys over there don't think about nothing except the turn of the cards or maybe opening a fresh bottle.
Horse? I could see a horse, but not that stupid sewing machine he rides around on.
Well, Docs, whatever else you got to say about him. You got to admit, it takes a lot of guts to run around the open dressed like that.
Yeah, guts. So when the guts cause all that trouble.
Oh, now what kind of trouble can one little skinny colored fellow dressed up like a peacock make, Berkey?
One? No. You just wait till he drags the others in here.
Others? What do you mean by that?
I saw it on TV. What they do every place. Detroit, Chicago, Newark. They run in all these guys from out of town, see? And then they cause all this trouble. And then when everything's all wrecked, that's when they clear out.
Hell, Berkey, you always take everything too serious. Just get him out of those pretty clothes and then some boots and Levi's and a Stetson. He'll just be like anybody else.
He'd still be black, though, wouldn't he?
Give me three.
No, blacker than a ranch hand in summer. I'll take two. Or an Indian or a Mexican. Got room for everybody out here in the wide open spaces, as long as they act decent. Don't try to put on like they're something better than somebody else.
No skin off my nose.
Well, it's off of mine. I gotta look at him. Why can't he dress like a man? I get that taste of bile in the back of my throat every time I see him. Grown man running around in an outfit like that. I don't care what color he is.
Well, now, maybe being from back east, he just doesn't know any better. You ever think of that? Did you, Berkey? So why don't we sitting around here jabbing at the jaw all night? Are we going to sit down and have a little game of stud or what?
Yeah, do me in.
Well, it wasn't long before some of the boys took to teasing him a little. They're always fooling around, you know. If they happened to be standing on the street corner and he went past, they'd say something about what he was wearing. Not to him, you understand, but just kind of between themselves so he couldn't help overhearing it. Didn't make no difference to him, like I told you. Like he didn't know his clothes looked funny.
Yeah, I've been thinking, what if coming from back east, it's all the clothes he's got? And, he maybe can't afford to buy Western clothes.
Yeah, they're expensive, all right. This Stetson I got set me back $35. That's how come I hold on to the old one for every day.
It's also how come you smell like a damn herd of sheep, too, Davidson. Oh, yeah. There's cheaper ones. But I guess I can see how a man might not want to get himself dressed up like a greaser either.
No, that's what I've been thinking about, see? Well, for that... You know that shirt my old lady sent me last Christmas?
Yeah.
Too small. And you got your old Stetson. And, Berkey, you got some old Levi's around that you don't wear, so much.
Yeah.
If he hasn't got enough money to buy, maybe he could wear something that we had. And if he'd rather have new, why, this would show him what he ought to get, see? Be like a hint. Leave it up to him, see what he does.
So anyway, that's what they done. They made up a big package of Western clothes, all their own things, and wrote his name on the outside to make sure there wasn't no mistake who it was meant for. And paid some Latino kid to take it over to this fella at his rooming house. Might as well have saved themselves the trouble. The next day, this fellow was wearing I don't know what you call it, but it was made out of a kind of shiny goods with flowers all over it and fitted up high around the neck, about like what you'd see some of those foreigners wearing on TV. Well, he was a sight. And the next day, that very next day, here comes this package back in the U.S. mail, marked in big red letters, delivery refused.
Sent it back just like it was junk and not good enough for him. We've been worrying he was too dumb to know better or too poor to buy better, and him looking down his nose at us all the time. I'd like to shove that package right down his throat.
Well, he wasn't the friendliest fellow in the world, I'll grant you that. He never speaks and he never looks you right in the eye, you know what I mean?
The way he looks, it's worse than walking around naked as far as I'm concerned. If he was walking around naked, that'd be my business, wouldn't it? It'd be indecent exposure, wouldn't it? And they'd lock him up for that.
You'd have a hard time making a court case out of that.
I'm not planning on a court case. There's other ways.
Like what?
There's ways. How'd it be if he was in a fix or he had nothing to wear but Western?
No, Berkey, you're always getting yourself in a big stew about nothing. Now,
Nothing?
Why don't you just...
Why, man, he threw that back in our faces like it was dirt. Fella could spit in your face and you just sit there and say, well, let's talk it over. Well, you talk. Only I'm going out to do something. You coming? I gotta do it all by myself? Okay, you just sit there and to hell with you, but I'm going out and get that...
keep your pants on. We didn't say we weren't coming, did we?
No.
You got no more patience than a kangaroo rat.
To tell you the honest truth about it, I'd just as soon not have gone with them. Sometimes they're a little high-spirited and hot-headed for an old duffer like me. But I was there, so I went along with him. Got in the car and rode over there to his rooming house and come in the back way.
Evening, boy. Now, we don't plan to hurt you none. Just gonna do something about those clothes of yours. Now, you gonna come, or we're gonna have to take you.
Well, sir, I'll tell you, my knees were knocking. But that fella didn't act a bit scared. Didn't say a word. Laid his magazine to one side, calm as you please, and went out the door between us. So all of us got into Berkey's car again and drove on out of town about 10, 12 miles, and Berkey the only one of us doing any talking.
That's no way to dress out here. You gotta wear boots and Levi's. Count on the Rattlers and the Cactus. Stetson. Keep your brains from frying in the sun. Well, we're gonna give you a little less. How come that's the way to dress out here? You're gonna see. You're gonna see whether you like it or not.
We turned onto a little back dirt road, and it was dark as hell out there. You know how it gets, no moon and no lights but the headlights of the car. The boys left them turned on while they gathered up brush and tumbleweed and got a good-sized blaze going. And then they stripped off his clothes, about like skinning a rabbit.
Yeah! Look at that shirt, will you? Loudest thing I ever saw in my life. You throw that on the fire, thing go off like an atom bomb. Here it goes. Guess that'll take care of that. Now, look. You see this package? You've seen it before, and you know what's in it. Levi, Stetson boots. You put them on, you wear them a couple hours, you find out they don't hurt at all. Much better than those girl clothes you've been wearing, especially if you run into a prickly pear. I'm going to leave it right here where you can find it. You understand? Go on.
Well, I guess he'll think twice about what he puts on his back now, huh?
Well, I can't help feeling kind of sorry for him out there in the dark all by himself. I understand they spook kind of easy.
Didn't look spooked to me. He can take care of himself.
Yeah? How's he gonna find his way back to town in the dark and on foot? He doesn't know his way around these parts like you and I do, Berkey. We shouldn't...
Hell, stop worrying. You're worse than some old woman. He's only half a mile from the highway. Plenty of cars passing there. See the lights. Head over there, get himself a ride in plenty of time.
Well, sir, nobody's seen hide nor hair of him all next morning. As far as we know, he could have lit out in the opposite direction and just kept going. Wasn't until almost lunchtime I heard anything. The story I got was that folks driving on the highway along about daybreak seen him limping back toward town on foot. They recognized him like anybody around here would and stopped and offered to give him a ride. But he just shook his head and kept on walking. Last they seen of him, he was still walking toward town. I stopped by the barber shop later on that evening to see if the rest of the boys had heard.
Just like I said, he's bull-headed. If he wants to walk instead of ride, you let him. But I never will forget that old shirt of his going up. Thought sure as hell would explode when I threw it in the fire.
Oh, stop carrying on like it was a big joke. You were mad as hell. It wasn't any joke.
Damn right I was. Snotty and bull-headed. Fella like that, you gotta hit him over the head to get his attention. Besides, did you get a look at what he was reading when we came in? Playboy magazine, that's what.
Oh, we got a whole stack of them right out in front of the barber shop. Why does that bother you?
I suppose it doesn't matter to you that he was looking at those pictures?
No. Any broad's dumb enough to strip her clothes off and pose for something like that deserves anybody looking at her. Just a picture.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He looks at those pictures. And who is it he's going to be going out with in this town? White women, that's who.
Well, they was all touchy as hell, arguing back and forth. Up too late the night before, I guess. So when I seen the chance, I slipped out the back and took a little walk down to the train station. Hung around there talking to old Wilson until the 12:05 come in. It was his opinion that the boys done the right thing.
Now listen, it's nothing to do with him personal or his color.
Oh, yeah.
A person treats me decent, I treat him decent.
Sure, sure.
I don't care if he's black or green. But the way I look at it is this. One old calf moseying along isn't any trouble at all. But you got a whole mess of them together, and who knows what they're liable to do.
Yeah, well, we never had any trouble like that around here, though. I mean, he's the only one we got.
Well, that's right. But why is it you suppose everybody else tries to keep him out? When you get to be our age, you got to look after yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Oh.
And why is it you suppose it's always the working men don't want anything to do with them wherever they go, huh? Why is it always these college boys and professors trying to squeeze them in every place that people don't want them? You suppose they're gonna take over the college boys' jobs, huh? Well, why, they don't know any more about that than you or I do. Well, what they know about is lifting and carrying and running our jobs and sweeping. So whose jobs you suppose they're gonna take, huh?
Well, now, I'd never even thought of that before. I always figured the main reason I had my job was because nobody else wanted it. I made up my mind to keep my eye on that fella if he showed up again. What if he went to the boss and offered to work for less than I was getting? I hung around at the station until old Wilson closed up shop and we had a cup of coffee at the diner. Then he went his way and I went mine back uptown along Main Street. It was pretty late and the streets were all deserted and quiet, and I was coming along by the feed store when I heard this little buzzing sound off in the distance. Then I seen that motorcycle, all loaded up with the laundry bag on the back, just like the first time I seen it. It turned on a main, and I stepped into the doorway of the hardware store and watched him. Seen him pull up alongside the new addition to the bank. He leaned over and picked something up, still sitting on his motorcycle with the motor running. A brick it was. Picked it up and threw it right through that brand new plate glass window, with the X's still not washed off. He picked up some more bricks and stuffed them into his little saddlebag he had hanging over the wheel and started his machine down Main Street, kind of slow but picking up speed, leaning over the side and heaving those bricks right through all those store windows. I ran down to the phone booth by the post office, called the sheriff. By the time he got his britches on, got down there, that fellow was clean out of sight and long gone. So, that's what he done. Smashed those windows and rode out of town. Just don't make any sense to me, none at all. Now, I could see him maybe having a grudge against Berkey and Cox and them because they pulled a trick on him. It was no more than right if he was to pull one on them. But it wasn't them he did it against. It was Mr. Fraser down at the bank, and Mr. Gage, and Mr. Skidmore, and those other businessmen. It was their stores he smashed, and they never did him no harm. Never even passed the time of day with him, far as I know. Just no sense to it at all. No, they didn't go after him more trouble than it was worth. State line's only 25, 30 miles away. Figure that's where he's headed. Good riddance, that's the way we'll feel about it. Let him go back to where he come from. Bust up their buildings, take their jobs. No, that's not the way we do things out here. But he better not ever show his face in this town again, I'll tell you. Or there'll be a real old-fashioned Western welcome waiting for him. What they used to call a necktie party. Well, stranger, thanks for the coffee and the company. Better be getting back to my sweeping now, I guess. Nice talking to you. Stop in again next time you come into town, eh? Look at that there. You suppose that's one of them miniskirts coming in the door? Beg your pardon. Didn't mean no harm by it. A fellow my age. Never dreamt it was kin of yours. Howdy, ma'am. Nice morning.
The Way Out West, a play for radio by Laverne Kerr. Al was played by Walter Marsh, and others in the cast were Richard Brown, Ed Burrows, Ken Ost, Helen Tootin, William McKee, Patricia King, Jay Fitz, Carl Schmidt, Larry Upright, and Bob Hartenberger. Technical operation by Marv Nunn. The play was the second prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by Hans Junges at WHA, University of Wisconsin Extension. This program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System in Hilversum, Holland. The Dutch World Broadcasting System presents The Damned Thing, a play for radio by Martin Halpern. third prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with a corporation for public broadcasting. The Damned Thing.
Oh, I give up.
Don't give up. Mustn't give up. It has got to be here somewhere.
It must have been the 10th time I've been through this pile. What's the use? If it wasn't here the first time I looked, how can it be?
This must be the 20th time I've been through this pile. But you never can tell. You never can. Damn, where in hell could it have gone?
Maybe that's where.
Where?
In hell. Just sank down right through the floor.
Cut that out.
Or took wing, maybe, right up through the ceiling to the other place.
I said cut that out. What are you doing up on your feet? Get back down and help me find it.
Can't. It's too ridiculous. Look at you groveling around on your hands and knees. I tell you, it just plain simply is not here.
It's got to be here.
Who says so?
I say so. It was here when we opened that crate before, right? Both of us saw it, right? And no one and nothing's been in or out of this room since then, right? Well then, things don't just vanish.
Right.
Well then?
Things don't just vanish. It has.
Well, just what is that supposed to mean?
Things in general don't just vanish. It in particular has.
No, that makes no sense. Damn. Where are you, damn?
Ah, there. You're on your feet, too. You've given up, too.
We must try to be calm. Systematic. Now, think. Where did you last see it?
I told you. Over there in that corner, I think.
You're not certain, though?
I think I last saw it in that corner. What more can I... All right, where did you last see it?
Over there, beside that big tangle of things.
Are you certain, or do you just think so?
All right. When, precisely, do you think you last saw it in that corner?
Just before we started assembling, I think. I was bending over, picking up a part to carry to you, and... All right, when precisely do you think you last saw it over there?
Well, I was up here, as I remember, setting a part into place, and I spotted it out of the corner of my eye over there.
And you last saw it after I did.
I think I last saw it after you think you last saw it.
Then you're the one who lost it, so stop trying to blame me.
What? Who's trying to... What do you mean, lost it? Just because I may have seen it after you did, that doesn't mean I lost it. Who's blaming who?
Well, I didn't lose it.
Well, neither did I.
If it weren't such a mess in here, if there were a little more order...
Oh, fine. Blame that on me, too. I'm responsible for the disorder.
I didn't say that. I only meant if we hadn't just strewed the parts all over the place when we opened the crate and then...
Look, what's order and disorder got to do with it anyway? A minute ago you said it's just plain simply vanished. Now you say, if it weren't for the mess, if there were a little more order, well, if it has vanished, what's the difference whether there's order or disorder, a mess or a non-mess? It wouldn't be here anyway.
Well, we'd have known. We'd have been surer sooner.
What are you doing?
Looking.
I thought you'd given up.
I have to do something. Can't just stand around arguing. There's a lot of energy built up in me.
Yes, me too. Look at the damn thing. Look at it up there.
Please, don't call it that.
What?
The damn thing.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Certainly is impressive looking, isn't it? Even barely half put together.
It certainly is. Imagine it all put together.
Yes. Oh, I'll go mad. How could we be so careless?
You mean how could I be so careless?
Me again?
No, not you. I didn't mean you by I. I meant I by I. That's what you meant by we, isn't it? How could I have been so careless?
I didn't say that.
But you meant it. Admit it. Well?
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 Look, we've got to get control of ourselves. You see the problem, don't you? Fatigue. We're both of us so worn out crawling around here on our hands and knees, we probably couldn't see it anymore if it were right before our noses, right?
Probably.
Then what do you say we just give it a rest for a while, put it out of our minds, then take a fresh start when we...
But what if he should?
Shh. Put him out of your mind, too, for a while. Here, come sit beside me.
All right.
There, that's it. Knees up, chin down. Now relax.
Think of nothing. Make your mind a blank.
Maybe... Maybe it...
Shh, don't think about it. Shh.
I'm sorry, I can't. Can't not just think about it. Too much energy build up, too much incentive.
What is it you were going to say? Maybe what?
Well, maybe it wasn't there when either of us thought we saw it before. Maybe it was just left out. Wasn't in the crate to begin with.
You mean we only imagined we saw it?
It's possible, isn't it?
Tricked us. Left it out on purpose.
Well, maybe by mistake. He just forgot.
He?
Or maybe it's a sort of test. He's sort of testing us.
Oh, I can't stand this. No, of course it was here. I saw the number on it. 333C, as plain as... Where the hell have you gone to, 333C? Where in hell have you gone to, damn you? All right, if we did imagine it. What now? What do we do?
I don't know. No telling how long he may be. He could come knocking this minute.
Oh, I wish he would. Then we'd know, wouldn't we? We'd put it to him straight. Is this a trick, or did you forget? Or are you, for some idiotic reason, testing us, damn you?
Shh, quiet.
Sorry.
Or it could be hours, who knows how many before he...
So what do we do? Till then, what do we do with all this energy?
We could just amuse ourselves. Play word games. Tell riddles. Or we could.
I'm afraid not. Not me, in this situation. Neither, I think, could you.
Oh, I could. But it's true, I wouldn't enjoy it much.
No. But there is another alternative.
What? What is it? Tell me.
Yes, it might... Look, I'll show you.
What?
Yeah, well, it's obviously quite a small part, 333C. You can tell with the spacing here, right?
Right, so?
Well, we could just slightly disobey the instructions.
How? What do you mean?
Well, they said parts to be assembled in the prescribed order.
Yes, of course, by the numbers. How else could they?
But with only... Look, with only a slight adjustment right here, it would be possible to keep going without it.
Keep going, but...
Build around it. Look. Just a small widening of this angle here, and ever so slight let's see if you can find 333D and E down there, will you? And then 334.
I saw all three of them a minute ago. I'm sure I did. Yes, here it is. 333E, and here's D. In just a minute, I know I saw it. Yes, here's 334.
Good, bring them up. Now, hand me D. Just this tiny adjustment. D can go across here, then E. E can be connected here, and go across here. See?
Yes, I see, but...
And then 334 will fit in this way. We can go right on normally from there.
But what about...
330cc, it can still be fitted in, don't you see? As long as we keep this little space open here, we can always insert it if it turns up.
Yes, I see.
What do you say? Shall we give it a try?
I'd rather slightly disobey and do something than obey and do nothing.
So would I.
It'll keep us occupied anyway till he gets here.
It'll have us on our feet again, working together.
Yes, I say yes. Let's go.
Let's go, then. There. That does it for D. And that for E.
It does work, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Now for 334.
Here it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There, that was easy. Now.
Don't tell me. 335, A, B, and...
Righto. And then 336.
Here's A and here's B.
336.
Coming up.
And 7.
337 coming up.
8A.
8A on the way.
B. And C.
And C, how very clever you are.
Time for 339A.
339A on the way, and B and C and D, how clever to think of this.
340A, if you please.
A, B, C, and D coming up by the numbers.
There's A in place. And here goes B. There. How's it looking?
Wonderful. Grander and grander.
And that does it for C. And D.
And 341 coming up.
Easy now, that's a heavy one.
Oh, light as a feather. Got it?
Got it. Now then. this into this, and this into... Uh-oh.
What is it?
I nearly did it.
Did what? What are you...
Look,
What's wrong? I don't see.
341. See how it fits now?
It seems to fit fine. What's... Oh, I see.
Once it's fixed in place.
There won't be any opening anymore to insert.
That's right.
So what now?
I guess this is as far as we can go.
No. Oh, it was so glorious there for a while.
It certainly was.
I felt like a child again.
Me too. But we've got no choice.
Then there's nothing to do but
Afraid so.
back down on our hands and knees.
The mess is a bit thinner now. It might be easier to find it.
If it's there.
If it's there. Well, come on.
Yes. All right. Oh, I can't. I can't go back to this, not after.
I know it's hard, but we've got to. We can't do nothing, can we?
I don't want to stop. I want to continue.
Continue?
Yes, up there on our feet, putting it together.
Do you know what you're saying?
Yes.
Once that part's fixed in place, we'll never be able to unfix it. Not with our equipment.
I know.
But if we have overlooked something...
We haven't. He left it out. So how can he blame us for going on without it?
Oh, he could. He could say we had no business violating the instructions.
We've already violated instructions.
But in a small way, a technicality, nothing functional.
Oh, I want to know. I want to know.
What? What it looks like, complete, regardless
What
of...
is expected of me?
Oh. So?
So?
Well, we don't know, do we? I mean, whether it's here or not, or if not, why not?
We don't know a damn thing.
No. So the only question is, in the light of that, how do we act, right?
In the lack of the light of that.
Yes. All right, I agree.
To what?
I say let's continue.
But...
That's what you wanted, wasn't it? It's what you want, isn't it?
Yes. I think so.
Settled then.
Settled.
Oh, here I go then.
I can't watch.
Don't then. Close your eyes or look the other way. Here goes. There. Done. And can't be undone. Well, that was easy. All right then. Let's take it from here. Next part, please.
What number are we up to?
342A, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. It's right here. Coming up.
Good. Now 342B and C and 343.
Yes, coming up. Here's 342C, and here's 343. My, the mess is thinning out, isn't it?
Sure is.
And here's 343B.
Got it. Now the rest, one by one, by the numbers.
Coming up by the numbers.
Good.
Yes. There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Just a minute. Coming up.
Good. What's wrong? Do you hurt yourself? What is it?
Nothing. Whew.
What was it?
I thought for a minute.
Oh.
But it wasn't. It was 383C. Whew.
There, now, there. It wasn't it. It wasn't it.
Oh, such a joy. This going back and forth, this bringing you things, this seeing it take shape under our hands.
Yes, sheer joy.
But then there's this awful empty feeling that comes sometimes in the pit of my...
I know, in mine too. But try not to think about it. Look up there. See how far it's come under our hands. Come on, we can't stop now, can we?
No, of course not. Let's continue.
That's the spirit.
What if it does turn up?
It won't turn up. Put it out of your mind.
But if it should, what would we do?
I don't know. Hide it, maybe. Throw it away, destroy it.
Oh, no, we couldn't.
It is not here, I tell you. You've got to forget about it. We both of us got to utterly forget, abolish, annihilate any lingering doubts.
Hopes, any lingering hopes.
Hopes, doubts, hopes are doubts. Doubts are hopes. Now listen, this is the only way. Start saying it and keep saying it over and over. It is not here. It will not turn up. It is not here. It will not turn up. It is not here. It will not turn up. It is not
Here, it will not turn up.
It
It is not
Good,
here.
that's right. Now
It
don't
will
stop.
not turn
And
up.
as you say it,
It
bring
is
up the
not
rest of
here.
the parts one
It
by
will
one,
not turn
by the
up.
numbers.
It is not
Not
here.
here.
It will not turn up. It is not here. Cannot turn up.
Fine.
It
Now
is not
keep it
here.
up now.
It will
Just
not
keep it
turn
up.
up. It
Right
is
from
not
that place, in the pits of Ost.
It is not here. It will not turn up. It is not here. Cannot turn up. It is not here. Will never turn up. It is not here. Cannot turn up. It is not here. Will never turn up. It is not here. It will not turn up. It is not here. It cannot turn up. It is not here. It will never turn up.
It is not.
No. Don't stop. There's just these few more parts.
It is not here. Will not turn up.
It is not here.
Cannot
turn up.
It is not here. Will not turn up. It is not here.
Cannot turn up. It is not here. Will not
Cannot
turn
turn
up.
up. Is that it? Was that the last? There's nothing left down there?
Nothing. Nothing.
Then this is it. Finished. Complete.
Yes, and is it ever? Oh, is it ever?
Come in.
Magnificent. Magnificent.
You're pleased?
I am well pleased. What harmony, what grace. Sublimer than I had imagined. I am well pleased.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mine the design, but yours the execution.
Yes, that's right.
And now for the moment of moments. The moment of truth.
The moment of
How
truth.
you must have looked forward to this. How I have looked forward to this.
What is it supposed to do?
Wait and behold. Wait and behold. The first spark, the initial animation.
Wait.
Yes? Well, what is it? Come, speak up, speak up.
The missing part.
The what?
The part that was left out.
Left out? A part left out?
Yes, absent, omitted.
Absent, you say? Omitted, you say? What can this mean? Nothing is ever absent. Nothing is ever omitted.
We looked everywhere.
What can this mean?
You forgot to put it in the box.
What?
Or else it just vanished.
Things do not vanish.
Things in general don't. It in particular.
Silence. Do you know what you're saying?
Look for yourself if you like.
Silence, I say. You have lost one of the parts.
We didn't lose it. It just
lost one of the parts. And yet you...
We built around it, yes.
Built around it, you say.
We didn't know what else to do.
Silence. Which part, pray? What was its number?
333C.
Oh.
Was it
Important?
Oh.
such a small part?
It couldn't have been too.
The core, the heart, the essence, the reason for being of it all.
Oh.
Lost it. And yet you dared, yet you presumed.
We thought you'd...
Understand, you say. Have you no conception? Have you no conception whatever?
But can't you...
Replace it?
Irrevocable. Irrevocable.
For us, but for you.
For you, for me, for it, for all. Oh.
Well then, what now?
What now? You soon shall see. You soon shall see.
What are you going to do?
What
are you doing? You're not going to...
Let's put the damn thing in operation. Set the damn thing in motion, yes.
But it...
Silence.
It doesn't work.
Of course.
Silence. Listen. Yes, just as I thought.
What is it?
Silence. Just as I thought. Just as I thought.
Seems to be sort of singing.
Why, it's lovely.
Listen to it sing.
Yes, sing and only sing. It was designed to serve, educate, guide, uplift, strengthen resolve, inspire integrity, militate against the terror of death. And now all it can do is sing.
Listen.
It makes me want to move about, sway with it, dance.
Yes, let's together.
Us together.
Dance then. Dance away together to its singing. I am leaving you. You to it, and it to you.
Don't stop. Dance with me. Keep dancing with me.
Look, what? It's coming. Look out. Hey, look. It's the door. Lock. Let us out. Hey, help, let us out. Hey, look out. Help. Let us out of here.
The Damn Thing, a play for radio by Martin Halpern. The cast included Penelope Reed as the woman, Walter Marsh as the man, and Ed Burrows as the designer. Special effects by Dawn Vergley. Technical operation by Marv Nunn. The play was the third prize winner in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by Hans Jonges at WHA, University of Wisconsin Extension. This program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, in Hilversum, Holland. Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, presents So Many Surprises, a play for radio by George Adil, which received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So Many Surprises.
Only 3:14. Such a long afternoon. Now you tell me, why do some afternoons have to be so long?
It's because it's Visitors' Day and nobody's come. That's why it is. There ought to be a law. On Visitors' Days, there's visitors.
I'm sure Ruthie would have come if John hadn't gotten sick. Ruthie's that faithful. Hardly ever misses coming Visitors' Days. Never more than once or twice a month.
Well, that's half of them. She's missed the last 2 Wednesdays, so she ought to come for sure today.
I told you, her husband is sick.
I thought I heard you tell Mrs. Simpson he was better, just before she left this noon.
It seems to me people with no kin of their own have too much time to think about other folks' affairs. I wonder when Mrs. Guthrie's coming out. Seems like she's been sleeping a long time.
Oh, she's not sleeping. She's sulking.
What's she got to sulk about? She's got some new pot holders to work on. Maybe that's what she's doing in her room. Doesn't want to come out here and disturb us with our company.
What company?
She knows it's Wednesday just as well as you and I do. There, I knew it. There's Ruthie's car now. I know the sound of that car anytime. Ruthie's here and we'll go for a ride. just Ruthie and me. I just wish I'd gone ahead and had my hair done, even if I did have a cold last week. Oh, I just wish I had. Ruthie always looks so fine.
Well, you can just sit down again. It's not your Ruthie, Mrs. Kimball. It's the cleaning truck for next door. Somebody from the Tip Top Cleaning Company is taking a blue dress into Mrs. Bolton.
Oh. Tip Top Cleaning truck. Are you sure? Maybe there are two cars out there. Maybe Ruthie pulled her car around in the back. One time she did that. I was looking out the window for her, and she came in the back way and surprised me.
Oh, it's late. She's not coming anymore today. It was only the tip-top cleaning truck like I told you.
Oh, you're awake.
I thought I heard a car in front.
Well, it was just the tip-top cleaning truck, Mrs. Guthrie. That's all it was. But it's high time you got up anyway. You won't sleep again tonight.
I always sleep at night. Never a night I can't sleep.
Well, maybe if Mrs. Simpson gives you a sleeping pill...
I can count on one hand all the sleeping pills I've taken in my life. Mrs. Simpson brought me hot milk.
I thought maybe you couldn't sleep last night because of your nephew not writing for so long. Mrs. Simpson could have put a sleeping pill in that hot milk. You settled right down.
Thinking's cheap. Go right ahead and think.
I was sure it was Ruthie coming when the car door slammed. But it was only the tip-top cleaners taking a blue dress into Mrs. Bolton's.
A blue dress? Oh, that's the one she had cleaned last week, isn't it? Oh, maybe she spilled something on it.
I'll ask her when I see her. I'll tell her you want to know.
Think I'll just go back to my room again.
For goodness sake, can't you take a joke? It seems like nobody can take a joke anymore. Myron, my husband Myron, was a great one for a joke, always doing something funny. Myron, I'd say, you ought to settle down and act your age. But he never would. He never paid any attention to his age, never did spare himself any, just worked like he was a young man till the day he died.
I've been thinking of something I want to do. I'm going to have Mrs. Simpson buy me some yarn, and I'm going to make a little coat for Mrs. Bolton's little dog to wear out this winter.
You might like dogs, but I like cats. When Ruthie was born, I had a kitten. My, but it was a pretty little kitten, all white, with the bluest eyes. But I'd heard never to have kittens or cats around babies. The hair gets in the babies' stomachs, or the cats lie on them at night and smother them. So he gave little Boots to the neighbors, and wouldn't you know, she got killed the next day. I did feel bad, but then, of course, I had Ruthie.
We had a dog one time. Pepper, we called him, and do you know, every time somebody said, "Pass the pepper," he'd sneeze. He really did. Isn't that funny? Would you believe it?
Yes, I guess that's funny enough. I was never one for dogs myself. Once I had a little bird, and that was nice.
I never knew you had a bird.
I almost forgot it myself. He was yellow.
Oh, what was his name?
I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me.
Oh, it doesn't make any difference.
No, it doesn't. Still, it would be nice to know. I'll try to think of it. I'm going to make the sweater for Mrs. Bolton's little dog out of red, and that would be pretty, wouldn't it, with its black hair? Won't that little doggie be proud and dance like?
Was that a car door? Go look, will you, Miss Martin?
Oh, go look yourself. Your legs will never get any stronger if you give in to them this way.
Well, you're a lot closer to the window. If you always want to take the chair closest, I'd think you wouldn't mind being a little accommodating. But if that's the way you feel, I'll look myself.
Oh, I can look. It's only I get tired every time a car door bangs a block away.
Sit still. I'll get her. Oh, my. It's a cold, windy day out. It's terrible. I hope Ruthie doesn't come. It's a bad day to be out on such a long drive.
I wouldn't think you have to worry. She's not coming.
I think the mailman's coming down the street.
Let me look. Oh, yes, he's coming. Mr. Samuel Porter is back on the job. I can tell by his walk.
After only 2 weeks. Nobody shows proper respect anymore.
Oh, still and all, Mrs. Porter was sick a long time. It would have been a trial for any man.
Trial or not, there's such a thing as how things look.
How's he walking?
Walking? How do you mean walking?
Oh, you know, slow and sorry or spring-like, you know.
Well, I'd say the way it seems to me, sort of in between.
I always said to Myron, if I was to go first, I'd want him to wait a decent time. Of course, he said that was foolishness. How could anybody ever married to me ever look at another woman? Still and all, I know women, and there are always some as will take advantage of a man in his grief.
He's sure taking his time. He's only in front of the Thompson house now.
Folks have said he was good to her in her last illness, but how does anybody really know?
Oh, he's coming a little faster now. Must have finally figured out folks is waiting for their mail.
Somebody just ought to tell him there's no sense being so slow. And someday I just might.
Well, you'll have your chance now. He's almost here. Hurry up and I'll open the door and give you your big opportunity. He's turning up the walk now.
Miss Martin, I don't want any hard feelings. Does it look like he's got much mail today? Miss Martin.
Oh, good morning.
My, but it's a windy day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty windy.
Don't you want to come in and get out of it a bit?
Well, I got a lot of mail to deliver today.
Well, we ladies will make you some tea or anything you say.
Well, that's awful kind of you, but I got all this mail to deliver yet.
Oh, well then, some other time maybe?
Yeah, some other time.
Is that all for us today? Just one sale bill?
I think so.
Well, thanks. At least it's something. Sure, you can't come in because it's Visitor's Day. And we ought to have one visitor anyway.
Close the door. Oh, all that cold air, good land to live in.
I expect I'll have a letter from Ruthie.
Oh, didn't you hear me say there's just one sale bill? Lamson's Furniture.
Oh, just one sales bill. Maybe he didn't leave all our mail because you were talking to him. Hurry before he's gone. Ask him to look again. Tell him to look for a blue envelope. Ruthie has blue envelopes.
Well, you said she wouldn't write because you knew she'd be coming.
Well, lots of times people make mistakes. Ask him to look just once more. Please.
Oh, Mr. Porter! Mr. Porter!
Oh, there she goes. Way outside. She'll be sick tomorrow, all right, you just say.
One time, one of Ruthie's little friends gave a birthday party. Everybody in the class got an invitation, except my Ruthie. Ruthie felt that bad, but she wouldn't let on. The day of the party, she didn't want to go to school, said she was sick. But I knew all right what it was. Well, do you know what happened?
No.
The afternoon of the party, the girl's mother came with the invitation. She found it with the party decorations, and it hadn't been mailed, so...
Martin oughtn't to hang on to Mr. Porter so long. No wonder he's so late getting around if he lets people like Miss Martin detain him.
Oh, my, but I've had an interesting talk. Turns out we both have relatives by the same name in Sunup County.
But where's my letter?
Miss Martin, you'd better just sit down. Get away from that window. There's cold air leaking, and I can feel it from here.
Oh, my!
Why, what in the
What is
world?
it? Are you seeing ghosts or something? Every time I get settled, you have to gasp about something.
Oh, but you ought to just come and see. It's Mrs. Simpson and Mr. Porter. They're standing out there right in that terrible wind, having a conversation. He's laughing.
Oh, let me look.
He's laughing.
Oh, my goodness. You're right. Why, they're laughing like fools. You know what I think? She's trying to attract him. She wants to be the next Mrs. Porter. Oh, she had it all timed. She came back just when she knew he'd be delivering all our mail. Oh, she's smart. She's a slick one.
She's hard. That's what she is down underneath. She's hard as a rock.
Yeah, he's giving her something.
Goodness, yes. Isn't that something? I'll bet it's a proposal of marriage.
A love letter.
Hurry, get back to your place. She's coming in. Oh, my, he's waving goodbye to her.
Well, good afternoon, ladies. Are you having a pleasant afternoon?
There's been no visitors.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's a visitor's day without visitors, I ask you?
I expect Ruthie to come any minute now. She has her own car, you know. Comes and goes as she pleases. Her car is air-conditioned and everything.
Who'd want an air-conditioned car in October?
There are some mighty warm days in October. If it's in your car, when you want it, you got it. Isn't that so?
That's so.
Does anyone know? Has the mailman come yet?
Oh, I'll be glad when Mr. Porter is back on the job. I expect he's still home brooding over his wife. It'd be terrible hard carrying messages of joy to people when your heart is broken.
Oh, hearts don't break all that easy.
I think a man's heart is easier broken than a woman's. I don't think my husband would ever have stood it if I'd been taken first. He'd have just grieved himself to death. I know it for a fact.
Maybe it's Mr. Porter's first day back on the job, and the mail is slowed down because he's brooding, you know.
I dare say the mail will be along any time now. I'm just going to the kitchen to see how the girls are getting along with supper.
Well, did you hear that? I call that cheek.
All the mean things. Now, why couldn't she have said she just saw him casual like? She wouldn't have had to say they even talked to each other. It just proves there's something going on between them.
Oh, my. Do you suppose he'll come live in the nursing home with her here?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. My, it just goes to show, like...
Show what?
Oh, dear, I forget. I was so worked up.
Oh, well, I wouldn't doubt one bit he'll come right here to live. Why would he want to keep up a home of his own with his wife gone and all?
I'll never get over the way she acted like the mail hadn't come yet. I'll never get over that. Not if I live to be 100.
Shh. She's coming back. I can see her coming.
Don't let her know we were even thinking about her. Start talking about something. Think of something, Miss Martin. You can always think of something.
Oh, dear, I can't think of a thing.
And then I said to him, if you're going to have those ugly old raspberry bushes in your yard, don't you let
Oh,
so
haven't
much
you ladies
one-
run down yet? You know, I don't think you need visitors. You're all very good company for each other. Now, here's your medicine, Mrs. Guthrie.
Medicine? I'm not scheduled for medicine. There must be some mistake, Mrs. Simpson. You better just have a look again.
Well, now, don't you remember the doctor ordered it the last time he was
Oh,
here?
no one can ever say I'm forgetful. I never forget a thing, and I was never one to take medicine.
Now, here you are. One big swallow, and it'll be all down.
Oh, Mrs. Simpson is right, Mrs. Guthrie. You are supposed to take it. I heard the doctor say so myself. Oh, I tried so hard not to hear what he was saying to you, but can I help it if the walls are so thin?
Don't pay any attention to her, Mrs. Simpson. She wants to be baby.
I heard that. Oh, I heard that. Oh, give it to me. That's the end of that.
And it didn't hurt a bit, did it?
I played a trick. I played a trick. I knew if I said you just wanted to be babied, you'd take it. There's all kinds of ways to do things. Some take one way and some another. Oh, there's Ruthie. Tell her I'll be right there, Mrs. Simpson. My, but I'll be glad to hear her voice again.
Hello, Cozy Nursing Home. Who? No, I'm sorry. You must want the Happy Manor. I'd try there.
Wait, don't hang up. Maybe that's Ruthie's way of surprising me. Wait, Mrs. Simpson, don't hang up.
Now then, Ruthie will call sometime. Don't you worry. Or you could call her. I'll call her for you tonight.
I certainly won't call her. I might call her at the wrong time. She might be dressing to go out, or be in the bathroom. She might think I had gotten sick. No, I wouldn't call. She wouldn't like it.
I tell you what, it's almost supper time, and there's going to be a surprise for supper.
I love surprises. Oh, I do love surprises. If it's for supper, it's something to eat.
Right.
I bet it's rice pudding.
You're close.
Did you hear that, ladies? I'm close. Isn't that something? Wait, let me have another chance. I bet it's chocolate pudding.
I can't digest chocolate pudding.
It's something you can all eat.
But do we all like it?
Yes, it's something you like, every one of you.
Then I'll have something to tell Ruthie about. Except if it's something she likes, then I'll feel that mean not sharing it with.
I guess it doesn't bother her any if she can share her treats with you.
Maybe she doesn't have any treats.
Of course she has treats. Her life is one big treat. Ruthie has always had everything she wants.
Now, ladies, just be easy. No need to be quarrelsome.
Well, seems you're in a fine mood, Mrs. Simpson. What's happened to you that's so wonderful?
That would be telling.
Oh, well, somebody ought to tell us something. Here we are, day after day. Just us.
Oh, I'd say you're all pretty lucky. It isn't just everybody has somebody to pay enough money to keep you here. You just ought to look around at some of those other places people go when they don't keep their own homes.
I don't like to have my nose rubbed in it is all. Oh, well, come on, you might as well tell us. Something's up. You've got something going.
Oh, I don't tell everything I know.
No, and I don't either. But I've been thinking.
Oh, that's nice.
I've been thinking too.
My, there's a lot of thinking going on.
I've been thinking that Wednesday's almost over. And how many Wednesdays has it been since anybody came to see us?
September 19 was a Wednesday and Ruthie came.
And today is October 20th, so there now. Now, what was I thinking? Oh, if we changed Visitor's Day to Thursday. way, it might be more folks would come. Wouldn't that be nice?
I wonder what Ruthie would say to that. My, but I'm going to have a lot to write to her tonight.
Oh, this day is just turning out to be just full of surprises. Isn't it exciting?
You just might die of surprises.
I remember when I was a little girl, just maybe 10 or 11, we lived on a farm. My, but the barnyard was bare, always picked clean and dusty. Well, one day it was a Sunday, and we were to have company. The preacher was coming, and his wife and his little girl. Her name was Tina, and she was just my age. I'd only seen her just once before because she'd been sick, and I lived back east with an aunt. When I saw her, she had on a white dress and a blue satin sash. My, it was just beautiful. Anyway, that morning I went out to get eggs across the barnyard that was so bare. It was a beautiful morning. Hot though. My, it was hot. Already things were sticking to me. I had an undershirt on, would have been good for winter. My dress had lilacs on with green stems. In church, I'd trace my finger from one stem to the other and pretend I would fry in hell if the preacher caught me when I was on the white.
Why, Miss Martin, that's the very most I heard you ever say.
And I had on my dress with the lilac flowers, and I wondered just how that blue sash of Tina's would look on it, and that maybe she'd let me try it on. And then, when I was coming back across the barnyard that hot day, I had 6 eggs. The red rooster just took after me, and I fell down. I fell down on the eggs.
Oh, think of that.
And I cried, and my mother came and said, "Stop crying and get up. You'll get over it." Only somehow, sometimes I think I never did.
I'm going to tell that to Ruthie.
Don't you dare! That is mine, all mine. Oh, I wish I hadn't told you.
I've got a secret and I won't tell. Not unless you treat me well.
A secret?
When Mrs. Kimball had to act so smart and tell Mrs. Simpson I wanted to be baby, do you know what I did?
No.
No, and you don't know and you don't deserve to know, but I'll tell you anyway. I got that letter that Mr. Porter gave Mrs. Simpson right out of her pocket.
Oh my!
Hurry, look at it. I'll bet it's a proposal of marriage.
Some folks say that you can tell what's in a letter just by feeling. Let me feel it a little bit here. No, it doesn't feel exactly like a proposal. I think he's asking her to go to the movies.
The movies? Oh, I do wonder what's playing.
Hurry, read before Mrs. Simpson comes back.
Do hurry.
Dear Madam, this is to inform you that your recent order of merchandise is out of stock. Please reorder in 30 days.
So Many Surprises, a play for radio by George Odile. The cast included Agatha Church as Mrs. Kimball, Eleanor Grant as Miss Martin, Jay Fitz as Mrs. Guthrie, and Carol Cowan as Mrs. Simpson. Technical operation by Dawn Vergley. The play received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by Hans Jonges at WHA, University of Wisconsin Extension. This program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, in Hilversum. Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, presents Visiting Hours, a play for radio by E.G. Burroughs, which received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Visiting Hours.
Why are you here? A maze of long white corridors. The antiseptic wilderness. The floor has been scoured and scrubbed and waxed and polished and sprayed and prayed over like a Dutch stoop.
What was that? Did you see him?
The nurses whisper behind my back.
The beard and the beads and the long hair. Who let him in? It's not visiting hours.
Halfway across America, riding my thumb. Why?
He doesn't belong here.
Jacob Herkema. At least I remember my name. Descendant of Dutch settlers. Look around. Dutch names everywhere. But not Holland. Everything's seen in a mirror. Distorted. A bucket of tulips, a windmill on a sign, the Netherlands of America. But not quite either one. Tiptoe through reflections. Time frozen like his eyes. A culture pickled in a jar. Formaldehyde. Halfway across America. Dead or alive? This town, this hospital, grandfather, myself. Is anything real? Only today the excess of terror. Doubting Thomas or Baptist John?
I don't want that boy in this house.
He's not a boy, Mother. He's a man.
I don't want him in this house.
But he's your grandson.
He's trouble, that boy. I want to sit by the window.
He's come to see Dad.
I can see the church from here.
The old building is empty now.
It's my church.
They built a new building now, Mother.
Nothing wrong with the old.
They're going to tear down the old building.
It's the tallest steeple in town.
These houses will all go too.
You can't make me move.
The house is too big.
It's my house.
It's too big for just the two of us, Mother.
It's our house. The good Dominie who brought us to this country, the founder, said before he died that the hill was best. So when the floods came, we moved away from the river and built our houses on the hill. All the families moved up from the river and built on the hill.
Your neighbors are all gone now.
And your father is dying.
Oh, he's tough as an oak. They'll fix him up, you'll see.
I know better.
Oh, he'll be back home in no time.
But I don't want the boy here. Not now.
Do you want the paper to read?
No. He's lost faith. You've all lost faith.
Times change, Mother.
Nothing changes while I'm alive. Nothing changes.
Jake Herkema, right? I knew you the minute I walked in the door. There's Jake Herkema, I said. Best split-in Northside ever had. It's Jake Herkema. You remember me, don't you?
Andy Dunker.
Right. Why, it's been 7 years. But I knew you the minute I walked in the door. In spite of the beard and everything. Can I buy you a drink?
Thanks. No.
Where you been, Jake?
Out west.
You back to stay?
No.
You got a job out there?
We'll see.
Bad as that?
Bad.
No job, I mean.
Well, I work when I have to.
I've been doing real estate since I got out of college. My dad's firm, you remember.
Dunker and Dunker.
Right. I didn't think you'd remember.
Why not?
Well, 7 years.
Is that so long?
No, I guess not. Not really. Yeah, I studied business administration in college. What did you study?
Mountains.
Mountains? Oh.
Great subject.
Just another form of real estate, you might say.
You might. Only I didn't buy any.
You know, I saw your mother the other day. She's in charge of the new museum. Early immigrant relics, history of the settlement artifacts. But you know all about that. She's doing a great job. The whole Dutch heritage bit, it's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
How's your grandfather?
That's why I'm here.
But he's come to see his grandfather.
Now that he's dying.
He's come all the way from California.
Dressed like a tramp, with a knapsack on his back.
Have you seen him?
I was told. The whole town knows. To my shame.
What do they know?
The beard, the hair down to his shoulders, the dirty clothes. Oh. He cut himself off from us a long time ago.
Or was it the other way around?
Don't contradict me. He packed his bag and left. He turned his back on us. He showed his contempt for everything decent and upright and honest. He refused to go to church. He laughed when I reminded him that his great-great-grandfather was the founder. What did he care for the good Dominie? What does he care for any of us? What right has he to think he can come crawling back now?
Do you think he's crawling?
He wants something.
Perhaps he just wants to see his grandfather.
I want my Bible.
Which one?
Hickok, the one I always read from when I'm upset.
The old one?
The one that belonged to the founder, the Dutch Bible.
Mother, you've forgotten. You gave it to me. It's in the museum.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
That boy. Do you think he'd ever learn Dutch?
Why come back now?
Isn't my grandfather's illness reason enough?
You weren't exactly close.
No.
Your mother sent for you.
She told me he was ill. Perhaps it was time for him to die, that's all she said. I came on my own.
That'll please her.
I didn't come in order to please anyone.
Because you wanted to.
Yes.
I guess I really don't understand. If you hated us all so much, well, you had a future here. After all, your family. Then you dumped everything. Just left without a word.
I had it. Up to here.
Everything was going your way.
Nothing was going my way.
Well, everybody has that trap feeling at one time or another. That's human, I guess. But you get over it. It doesn't last. It's home that counts. The place you were born, the way you were brought up. Tradition, family, friends. You can't be happy anyplace else, not really happy.
You're quite a preacher.
No, I'm not.
You believe.
I know what I feel.
You really believe. You bought it all. Now you're happy and safe. Right church, right country club. thought, right, good.
You had the same chances.
And I fumbled the ball, right?
You didn't have to come back.
That really bugs you. No chance for the prodigal son.
But you're not the
repentant. No. A man's death is so final.
It won't work.
What won't?
You came back to gloat.
Gloat?
One more of the old-timers dying off. One more member of the family you hate shoveled under the sod. You won't be happy till they're all gone. You're so bitter you want us all dead. And for no good reason. No good reason at all. What do you hope to gain coming back like this?
The stranger is always threatening, isn't he? The foreigner in the odd clothes.
But you're no stranger.
Ah, and that makes it doubly terrifying, doesn't it?
I didn't ignore you.
That's Christian of you.
No one told you to leave town. No one's saying it now.
Not yet. But they will. Oh, they will. Do you know something? I'm the one who should be frightened. I wandered into hostile territory. Nobody cared when I left. But now they'd like to see me burn.
Not Jacob Herkimer.
Yes, Jacob Herkimer. Because he's their conscience. The living reminder of their bankrupt society.
You really believe that, don't you?
Don't you?
I think you're the one that's been corrupted. You want to be some kind of Jeremiah. Woe to the sinners. Let's all put on the sackcloth and ashes. Well, I thought at first you wanted to repent. But no, it's not that. You want us to repent. Well, you go back to your wilderness, prophet. We're not evil. And we're not afraid.
Jake.
Hi.
Come in here. Come in. I thought that you were going to the hospital.
Later. Does grandmother know I'm here?
Yes, she knows.
Persona non grata, right?
She's in the living room by the window.
You don't want me to talk to her?
She gets so upset, dear.
I'm not welcome in my own house.
Jake, don't cause trouble, please.
Trouble? Is that all I am?
Control yourself, dear.
Have I given up every human right because I've chosen to live my own life?
No, but please don't be angry.
What's going on out there? Do you think I'm deaf?
It's Jacob, Mother.
I'm here, grandmother. I hope you're glad to see me.
Some things I am powerless to prevent.
I came to see grandfather.
So I've heard.
After I've seen him...
If you see him.
I thought there was a chance I might be welcome here. At least for a short visit. At a time like this. I see I was mistaken.
Did you expect we'd bow down and fawn? Did you think your years of neglect and defiance of this family could be wiped out by one act of pretended solicitude?
Mother, you're not being fair.
Nothing's fair in war, right, grandmother? And this is war, declared or undeclared.
Wars are won by the righteous.
And the peacemakers go down in defeat.
You consider yourself a man of peace? You have been fighting us. You have caused suffering and heartache. Now you think you can suddenly declare an end to what you began in the first place, and all will be well.
Did I begin it? Did the good Domini begin it by sailing out of Amsterdam? Or did they begin it by telling him what he should think and how he should worship?
Don't quote history to me.
This is ridiculous quarreling. What does it matter how it all began? What matters now is that we see grandfather through his illness.
Jacob, you pretend peace, but you nourish hostility. Aren't you one of that generation that's supposed to be preaching love, love, love? Where is your love?
Was it love you wanted from us? Or just homage?
Where were you when your grandfather was strong and active? Now he's grown so weak and strange in the head he wouldn't recognize you, or any of us. It's too late to ask his forgiveness. It's too late to ask mine.
Mother, you won't forgive your own grandson.
She has nothing to forgive me for.
You deserted us.
No. I walked out on a way of life I found false and repressive.
You called me a hypocrite.
Did I?
You did.
Are you?
You see, you did attack us. You are still attacking us. You are our enemy. Why did you come back? Shall I tell you? You came back because you'd grown tired of living like a vagabond. You couldn't hold a job. You couldn't earn enough money even in California to provide you with the comforts you needed. I don't know the details, but I can guess. You came back when you heard your grandfather might be dying, in order to restore yourself to his good graces. I am an only child, you said, and grandmother's in her dotage. Perhaps the old man will think kindly of me and put me back in his will.
Mother, take that back. You can't mean what you're saying.
God knows she means it.
It isn't true, Jake.
Of course it's not true. The idea of a will never crossed my mind. I didn't come here for money or for the promise of money. I don't want to be an heir to anything. How should I know whether grandfather's rich or broke? So, that's why you didn't want me to go to the hospital. You were afraid I wanted to talk grandfather into changing his will for my benefit.
Father's too ill to talk to anyone. You said so yourself, Mother. You didn't honestly think that Jacob
Oh, shut up. I've never heard anyone whine like you. My husband and I have suffered many blows in our lives. We have tried to uphold the traditions of our faith, to follow in the footsteps of our forefathers, to preserve the heritage of the land from which we came. It has not been easy. The longer we live, the more difficult it becomes. Our trials grow harder when our children hurt us.
Mother, you said enough.
You too, Minkint.
Me?
You too. When you married that man against our better judgment.
What are you talking about?
Your father.
I'm not going to listen to any more.
Let me stay here and talk, Mother. You run along. I'm sure you have work to do.
But, Jake...
No buts. I'll look for you at the museum.
All right.
All right, Grandmother. Now, what about my father? Is that a cradle?
Yes.
You rock it with your foot.
Mm-hmm.
The carving's beautiful. Shows respect for the wood. Too bad children today have to sleep in such ugly furniture. Do you suppose that's what makes them ugly? Do you need a handkerchief?
No.
That one looks ready to hang on the line.
Oh, Jake.
I like your museum.
Do you?
Very much. The chairs, the tools, the clothes. Did you arrange them?
Mm-hmm. All this junk.
It's not junk.
Out of people's attics and basements. Human waste, the leavings, and I cling to them.
Spinning wheels, milking stools, brass pans. Better to save those things than worn-out beliefs.
Or are they the same?
The purity of the primitive. Something we've lost.
Well, you can see it in perspective, but who else will? These are the sacred relics. Over there, that's the most hallowed shrine of all.
The Bible.
The good Dominie's Bible.
Ik hef meine Ogen op naar de bergen van waar mijn hoop komen zal.
Jake. You don't know Dutch.
Well, I couldn't live here for so many years without having some of it rub off now, could I?
Do you know what it means, the lines you read?
Sure. I will lift up mine eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. How did you know?
Know what?
That it was my favorite song.
No, I've always known.
You selected the page. Grandmother doesn't know.
No.
She would never suspect.
One page is like another to her, as long as it's in the Bible.
I have a girl. We live near the mountains.
You didn't write?
I know. I thought...
That I was on their side? Against you?
Yes.
I wasn't on anybody's side. I simply didn't understand.
Her name is Sally. When I told her I was coming here, she tried to stop me. She said this wasn't my home anymore. The mountains were my home. I didn't belong here. The old bit about you can't go home again. She was afraid I'd be hurt.
She was right.
No, I can't be hurt anymore. But I didn't want to make things more difficult for you by coming back.
Will you go back to Sally?
What do you think?
I hope you do.
I'm going to see Grandfather now. Do you think she'll try to prevent me?
Grandmother? I don't know.
Will you go with me?
I've interfered too much. You'll have to work things out with your grandmother in your own way. I've lost my chance.
The frozen mirror. A mind like a windmill whirling. Everything out of focus. Where is the room at the heart of this great white maze? Halfway across America to meet myself in the bed of a dying man.
Sir,
Yes,
it's not visiting hours.
I've come to see the old man in 611.
Are you a relative?
Yes,
Only close family are permitted.
I'm close enough. Look who's here to welcome me. Perched on the sill of room 611 like a crow. Like the raven at his chamber door.
You can go now, nurse.
I didn't know.
I thought I'd find you here. Even when he's dying, still you'll protect him. From what?
Your great-great-grandfather.
Most excellent pastor.
The good Dominic.
The shepherd. Corralled his sheep, cleared a wilderness, founded a colony, worked hard, sinned not, scrubbed his sidewalk and his soul.
The founder.
Built a wall around his transplanted tulips. Fenced in his disciples. Everyone else keep out.
Your great...
Forgot. And his descendants forgot. A closed room runs out of air. No oxygen, no freedom. Nothing stays pure with the windows locked.
Our forefathers were men of God.
And I am a man of conscience.
Their values endure. Strength, righteousness.
I know what the good Domini was. And I know what I am. You see, Grandmother, I'm proud to be his descendant. But we are not the same. I respect his memory, but I can't worship him. I respect my own grandfather as you do yours. I wouldn't have come all this way if I didn't. But we are not the same. May I go in?
Go in. There is no other way.
Visiting Hours, a play for radio by E.G. Burroughs. David Hervella was Jacob Herkema, Agatha Church was the grandmother, Jay Fitz was the mother, Rob Hankins was Andrew Dunker, and Linda Clodder was the nurse. Technical operation by Dawn Vergley. The play received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by Hans Jonges at WHA, University of Wisconsin Extension. This program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, in Hilversum, Holland. Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, presents Erasmus in the Underworld, a play for radio by Paul V. Hale, situated in the underworld of classical myth, December 1970. The play received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Erasmus in the Underworld.
Is that you again, Erasmus?
Your Honor, may I have a few words with you?
You were here just a few minutes ago.
Minos, if it please your Honor, I have a petition.
Like the music, Erasmus?
Ah, that's by Jacob Obrecht. He taught me what music I know.
Correct.
Obrecht always had a melancholy effect on me.
Well, what do you wish to see me about this time, Erasmus?
I would like to petition for my release.
Are you complaining about the heating system again?
No, sir. Hot as it is, I prefer it to the stoves of Germany.
Your housekeeper?
No. As housekeepers go, she's as good as any in Hades.
The neighbors?
If I could, I would choose others, but all I want now, sir, is my release.
What time do you make it?
It's December by my watch.
You know very well we don't count months down here. What's the other hand say?
1970.
I'm referring to the century hand, stupid.
No, it is still the 20th, going on the 21st.
You were sentenced to 500 years upstairs time, I believe. Now, let me see. Here's a long note on your case, Erasmus. It all comes back to me now. You were one of those Christians who were denied the usual judgment after death. Because you could not make a stand on certain religious matters, your heaven, hell, or purgatory were denied you.
I was sent to the underworld first. I'll be judged after serving my sentence here.
Poetic justice, that. Since you spent more time in Olympus with Jupiter than you did in the company of your god, it seems to be a fitting punishment. Now, let's see. Your last entry in the Book of Life was on page 1536. You've been here...
434 years.
Just a shade under 4.5 hours, our time. For the last hour or so, you've approached the bench every 10 minutes. Can't you control yourself?
I've been among the shades here 4 1/3 centuries. That's a big piece out of anybody's eternity.
Oh, come. Every 10 minutes is just too much. But let's not quibble. Time is so relative. What have you done to deserve special consideration?
Oh, well, many say that I have written the best Latin since Cicero.
And for this you want time off, yes?
And I, single-handed, rescued classical Greek from barbarous vulgarity and restored it to something approaching its pristine beauty.
Anything else?
I may also claim to have exerted some influence on higher education.
Have you had a good look at higher education, as you call it, lately?
I have also done some writing.
To what purpose? Who reads Erasmus anymore?
Please, Minos, I can't get my favourite Burgundy here, and with my delicate digestion it's a necessity, not a luxury. And that fish factory. I can't stand the smell of fish, you know. Also, Your Honour, why must I eat fish and keep those rigorous fasts? They don't do that up there anymore, I've heard.
Funny how quickly idealistic arguments reduce themselves to a matter of creature comfort, personal advantage, or both. I'll tell you what I'll do, Erasmus. Tell you what I'll do for you.
Yes, Your Honour.
I'll grant your request for a hearing. You may call one witness who has known you very well.
I call up St. Thomas More.
We recognize no saints down here. And you may call him down, you understand. This is the underworld.
I call Sir Thomas More, then, Saint or plain sir, he easily towers over all Englishmen by a head.
And I will call down another sometime Augustinian monk.
Oh, not Luther.
Why not Luther?
We have never met.
My friend Erasmus.
Sir Thomas More, witness for the defence.
Ah, how good to see you again, my sweet More.
Erasmus, dearer to me than my own eyes.
Oh, Erasmus, we meet at last. And Martin Luther, witness for the prosecution. Now, you two shades must remember that you are witnesses in my court. You are here to testify in the matter of the petition of Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. You will speak only when spoken to. You will avoid outbursts of any kind. I insist on decorum. This is no earthly court, you know. Now, let's get going. We don't have all the time in the underworld.
Tell him, friend Moore, that I meant well, that in Virgil's words I followed, to the best of my ability, the path fortune prepared for me.
St. Paul is a better guide for a Christian. Silence, Luther.
My dear Moore, tell the judge that I had no taste for quarrel and bloodshed.
Your Honor, my friend Erasmus is a gentle soul who seeks the middle way.
We don't have souls here, Moore, only shades.
That is the way of cowards.
Luther, while I search the record, will you begin your testimony?
Your Honor, the record speaks plainly enough. This stinking codfish was born without a backbone. Because he would neither swim with nor against the tide, he was thrown up on the beach, and he lay there rotting on the shore because he would make no effort to get back into the sea.
Brother Martin, I detest fish. Even the word nauseates me.
Even the word brother nauseates me.
Friend Martin, then friend or brother, are they not the same?
Whose friend are you? That seems to be the question at issue.
The court requests that you grant Erasmus this indulgence to call you friend.
Indulgence? You know how I feel about indulgences.
Silence. I've tried to search the record out, but it's hopeless. I never saw such a tangled mess. Charges, countercharges, abuse heaped on abuse. I don't understand you Christians. You hate each other and are ready to kill each other in the name of religion.
Hatred and inhumanity defy all logic. Christians do not hate because of their religion, but in spite of it.
Let us return to the issue. Erasmus took no stand. This is the heart of the Erasmus question.
Friend Martin, I have told you, a literary man.
Oh.
I do not claim to be a theologian. I had no stomach for your quarrels.
Erasmus, the record says you translated the Bible. You call this a purely literary work?
I admit that there is a connection with theology here, tenuous as it may be. You must also admit that to render the Greek into Latin required some literary skill.
You can't sidestep your responsibility by quibbling over words. You are a biblical scholar. Your fame as the world's greatest scholar demanded that you make a stand. But did you speak out?
Frankly, I did not want to seem to sanction the quarrels of either side. I feared that the intemperance of both factions would lead to violence and would prove disastrous to learning.
Learning? You mere curd of ass's milk.
Friend Martin, I can truthfully state that you had my sympathy.
Sympathy?
Instead of leading the fray, as I could have, I stood naked and unarmed between the javelins of two angry foes.
You owed me your public support.
I was neither your advocate nor your judge. I would not presume then, nor do I now presume, to judge your heart or condemn your actions.
My friend Luther, Erasmus wished to further the cause of mankind without injury to anybody.
Oh, jellyfish.
I did not have the time to read all of your arguments, friend Martin.
Or answer my first letter. The greatest mind of the century had no time to answer the letter of a simple peasant. You could not stoop to take notice of a humble fellow Augustinian monk.
The demands on my time were enormous. I do not recall the letter you refer to. I wrote you a number of times, but you did not seem to need my advice.
You lit the torch, then disappeared behind your books.
Erasmus!
Your Honor.
This is a serious charge. Did you expect to start a conflagration, then ignore it? Couldn't you see the consequences?
I have never claimed to be a prophet. Perfect vision is the prerogative of hindsight.
How plead you on this matter of taking a stand?
It is not a simple question of being guilty or not guilty. As I see it, taking a stand for or against Martin was not my business.
A man must at some point say, "Here I stand. I cannot do otherwise."
He must, as it were, place his head on the block.
I can't accept such a simplistic conclusion.
You stirred the world up with that silly little book about fools, then retreated into your study.
There's quite a bit about that little book of yours in the record. In fact, I understand that you are remembered almost exclusively as the author of The Praise of Folly.
It was a trifling thing. I wrote it in a week at friend Moore's house.
Thomas, I would like to have some passages from it read into the testimony. Would you take the part of Folly?
Gladly.
Must I remain for this ludicrous performance?
If you don't, I'll take back your safe conduct pass through Rome.
I recall the delight with which we heard Erasmus read parts of it in my house when it was written. Your Honour, I heartily recommend this magnificent trifle.
Please begin.
Just a moment. As soon as I get my wig on...
Oh, come in, whoever you are, but be silent.
Shut up yourself, you old cretin!
You insolent wench.
Now, is that nice?
Who is this Xantippe? Minos assigned my earthly housekeeper, Margaret, to me here in Hades.
Sycorax, we have important business to transact.
My master calls me all sorts of names, so go ahead. Call me whatever you like. I bought you some refreshments.
I didn't call you.
Here's your wine.
Shall I proceed playing Folly?
Nice job of casting, Sir Thomas. From what my master tells me, you married her. Here's your wine.
Be silent, loquax. Do not all who marry pay court to Folly?
Wine, Your Honour.
Holy jumping Jupiter! Bebex, what did you serve us?
In Germany, this might pass as Wasser.
Dishwater.
Don't you appreciate the wine?
That's not wine, Mendax.
What will you call me today? Yesterday it was Huzzy Minx, my dear. Why don't you quote from the letter you wrote? Oh, that rhymes. The letter when you fired me in 34. In your finest Latin you call me Furax, Rapax, Bibax, Asinus, Asinorum, Musca, Musculus, Musculorum.
I am being maligned. I never used such dreadful Latin. And you didn't learn those pronunciations in my house. Why don't you jump into the sticks?
Woman, would you tell the court what you did to the wine before Jupiter strikes you dumb like the goddess Muta?
I wanted to see if theologians have stomachs.
You know very well I don't consider myself a theologian.
You don't have much of a stomach either, Hercules. What with my cooking? Anyway, to answer your question, I poured a little soapy water into the wine.
Brazen woman, oh, my stomach.
Oh, you may have the heart of a Catholic, but your stomach is something else. What with your taste for fish and fasting.
You see, Erasmus, I had my reasons for assigning her to you here.
Minos, you are diabolical.
You might say that is my profession. There should be some justice, at least poetic justice, in this underworld. I figured assigning her to you here was worth 5 hours our time, 500 years Earth time, especially after you got rid of her the way you did. It wasn't very nice of you to leave a note in an envelope and go off on one of your extended trips. By the way, you did owe her some money, didn't you?
I fed her for 12 years, provided her with a roof over her head, and gave her the privilege of hearing the finest Latin spoken.
Is she gone?
Not farther than I can hear.
Come in. Why, Julius, what brings you here?
Margaret told me I was wanted here.
She said something about some special guests.
Who in hell is this?
I am not in hell. I'm a resident of the Renaissance section of Hades.
This is my neighbor, Julius II, sometime Pontifex Maximus.
We have met.
Julius, we were just about to hear a bit of friend Erasmus's Folly.
Oh, for a quiet scholar, you made a lot of noise, Erasmus. I don't seem to recognize that gentleman standing over there.
You might call him an architect.
Ha! Too bad I didn't know about him. I could have used another architect in building my new St. Peter's. Poor Michelangelo, he really had his hands full. And I must admit I drove him pretty hard.
You might say I helped redesign St. Peter's.
I beg your pardon?
It was a bit after your day. St. Peter's hasn't been the same since.
You don't say.
And Julius II was sent to the underworld by a certain St. Peter, who didn't recognize him because of his warlike appearance. At least that's what the record says. He came before Erasmus. He's something of a permanent fixture around here.
Your Honour, may I continue with the role of Folly?
Sir Thomas, I understand she has ass's ears. Where are they?
I've been trying to get this contraption over my head, but it keeps slipping.
The wig?
No, my head.
Well, let's have more folly. Or if you prefer, let's have folly more.
I'll open the book at random. Any place is as good as any other.
It's all equally silly.
Let us begin here. Why are fools in such demand? Rulers can neither drink nor eat nor go anywhere without them. Why? Fools are precious to the prince, because whereas wise men give advice that's often hard to take, fools flatter and blind and make the ruler think he is wise.
Depends on the ruler. Some may not be subject to flattery, you know.
Quiet, Julius. Read on, Sir Thomas.
Folly says that without her there would be no progress. There would be no need for judges, teachers, reformers. In short, there would be no world. Rid the world of fools, and who would be left?
Not even Erasmus.
Behold the philosophers, the seekers after truth, the members of the learned professions. In short, all those who never doubt in the least that they have the secret of the universe between their fingers, as if they had dropped into the council of the gods, while all the time nature laughs at them and their blind conjectures and confounds their pride. Do not those who have the least knowledge profess loudest that they have it all? And do not those who are most ignorant often arrogate to themselves the office of teaching others?
One of my illustrious predecessors in the chair of Peter Gregory by name said, let not those who are unlearned presume to teach.
That was in more barbarous times. Civilization has made considerable advances since then.
As Erasmus himself says, a fool speaks of foolish things, and so he speaks in his book of fools. He should have written a book in praise of wisdom.
Oh, that would impose a frightful limitation on the work. As Solomon said, of fools there is no end, but where will you find a wise man?
Nevertheless, it seems that the charges against the praise of folly are many and serious. Sir Thomas, can you refute them?
I shall undertake no defense of the work, as it needs no defense. It has been favorably received and highly praised by the most competent of men. Has it not, Julius?
Indeed it has. I was much amused by it. I was pleased to see that Erasmus included himself in it as well as everybody else. I am much more concerned about some other things that Erasmus fished out of his inkpot. Many anonymous books and pamphlets that touched off a raging fire.
There was a wonderfully effective satire against some pope or other.
I believe we stand in his presence.
I have some questions to ask about a certain anonymous dialogue called Julius Excluded from Heaven.
The record is silent on it.
That's because Erasmus will not admit his authorship, though the world knows this scurrilous piece came from him.
I'd like to have some of it in the record of these proceedings. Julius, you can play yourself.
That's his favorite role.
Who else do we need?
St. Peter.
The part is yours, Luther.
Oh.
Erasmus, provide us with the setting.
Oh, well, I'll do as well as I can. It seems that Julius II attempted to enter paradise after his death, but he experienced some difficulty. St. Peter, I understand, didn't recognize him.
Julius, begin.
Open the gates, I say, Peter.
Who are you? What do you want here?
Do you not see my triple crown?
I don't recognize the crown. No heathen king ever wore such a crown.
Enough of this. I am Julius II Pontifex Maximus.
If you are 3 times Maximus, even if you are Mercury, you can't come in until you're Optimus too.
You are an unlettered fisherman. I am a fisher of men.
I see only a general with bloody armor.
Minos, this is degrading. Must I continue?
No interruptions. Please go on.
You must show your merits first. Nobody gets admitted without merits.
What do you mean by merits?
Man is saved by faith alone.
Friend Luther, that is not in the text. Will you refrain from proselytizing?
Behave yourself, Luther, or I'll throw an inkpot at you.
Julius, have you given good example?
I have subdued my enemies.
Have you taught true doctrine?
I have been too busy fighting. There are monks to teach doctrine.
Have you lived a holy life?
I have been a man of action.
What good did you do?
I raised revenues. I annexed Bologna to the Holy See. I drove the French out of Italy. I left my mark on Rome. I gave Michelangelo work to do. Without me, what would he have done with his talents? I laid plans for the new St. Peter's. I worked out a system of raising funds for this great project through the granting of alms for indulgences.
We cannot respect a man whom we know to be worthless. He who would traffic in the sale of indulgences...
Martin, stick to the text.
Behold, I am born on a golden chair. I look like a leader. You should have seen me at Bologna and at Rome after the war with Venice. Scipio and Caesar were nothing by the side of me.
Enough, enough. I look at a worldly tyrant, a disgrace to the church.
Mere envy.
Oh, insolent wretch. Dare you compare your glory with mine?
Enough. Enough of this, Minos.
Very well. Sir Thomas, what do you say about the authorship?
Your Honor, I have never been interested in discovering the name of the author, although I have heard different views.
What do you say? Did he write it?
Suppose he did, does he not have the right to express his opposition to war and to warrior popes?
Santa Maria!
The problem is simply this. Erasmus lacked the courage to admit publicly that he wrote this devastating satire. Is not the basic issue his unwillingness to stand up and be counted?
It would seem to me that he took a very strong stand here.
But did he acknowledge this work to be his without equivocation?
A man must exercise the virtue of prudence.
Is that how you lost your head?
Erasmus, what say you in your defense?
I am, and have been, accused of all things. Luther himself has accused me of not believing in God, of being an enemy of Christianity. Faction, gentlemen, spares none, and calumny sticks and cannot be washed off. I have tried, quietly, to correct abuses, and I have disapproved of excesses by all sides. I have begged both sides to tolerate their opponents and to leave each man to his own conscience.
Well, all of the evidence seems to be in. Do you wish to make a final statement?
I speak not for myself or my own reputation. I fear for posterity. May Christ's dove of peace, or at least Minerva's owl of wisdom, come among men.
Every man, naturally, thinks his own case fair. All men, I grant, cannot do all things. Nevertheless, Erasmus, I would say that you should have learnt a bit more thoroughly the meaning of a saying attributed to Epictetus. Sustain and abstain.
I know it well. It is in my published collection of proverbs.
Precisely. You know it well, but did you practice it? You learned perfectly how to abstain, but did you learn equally well how to sustain? To sustain your convictions more vigorously?
Your Honor, what is the verdict?
You must remain in the underworld for the duration of your sentence.
He who drinks the wine must also drink the dregs.
But Erasmus, I'll offer you one condition. You may gain your release earlier if you can persuade your sometime patron and King of England to write a defense of the marriage bond. Eh, Sir Thomas?
I like that well, Minos. Henry VIII, defender of the marriage vow.
Every man is made a fool through his own wisdom.
Erasmus and the Underworld, a play for radio by Paul V. Hale. Dennis McCarthy was Minos, one of the judges of the Underworld, formerly King of Crete. Noel Johnson was Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam. John Westbrook was Sir Thomas More. Felix Felton was Martin Luther. Margaret Wolfett was Margaret, housekeeper for Erasmus. Hugh Manning was Pope Julius II. The play received honorable mention in the Golden Windmill Radio Drama Contest, a competition organized by Radio Nederland in cooperation with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. The play was produced by H.B. Fortuyn. The program came to you through the facilities of the transcription service of Radio Nederland, the Dutch World Broadcasting System, in Hilversum, Holland.